Welcome to Word, working on the rhetorical designs. We appreciate you, fam, for logging in with us, blending with us for sure. Like I say, this right here is a space, a maroon space where freestyle writing leads to freestyling, and freestyling leads to community building. Like I said, we just trying to raise the vibration, create a vibe. We know COVID has been what it's been. It's been challenging in just different aspects, find different folks. So, like I said, we're just trying to raise the energy. Without further ado, we're gonna just get into it. I know last week's episode and show was a bit different, but we're gonna invite the brother to kick it off. The brother Malcolm. Whenever you're ready, you can go in and
Okay. I'm gonna kick it off.
show yourself.
All right. Okay. Now, what you think? I was supposed to honor all the people you call saints, all those pale images that Michelangelo paints. I'm that bird singing out of Maya Angelou's cage. The things I've seen will make many men scream, and I believe in things that are unseen, like angels and jinn and the shayateen. A'udhu billah, Lord protect us. I mean, but I only fear Allah. I'm not afraid of them. Bamboozling people ain't the way to win. That one, it's a lot, is how my day begins. And sorry, I don't trust a man who prays to men, and I don't trust a man who doesn't have a watch. Feeling like I'm Malcolm X, half the Hodge. Freedom fighting, breaking idols, that is my job. And telling everybody there is only one God. That's the movement, and it's moving, nobody can stop it. The greatest revolutionary ever was the prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Away from false philosophy to the truth he was calling. But the pagans of today are worse than pagans from antiquity, because they don't even believe in higher entity. And in the name of money they will murder anything. And got the nerve to ask me why I look so menacing. A gritty singer, sentencing young city kings for littering. They're entering the door with the literacy. Literally, bitterly I push forth, trying hard to stand, understand this land. I'm only 3/5 of a man. Parole and he strikes while we scared to raise my hand. If America wants a solution, then it needs Islam. From Iran to Japan, all the sides have began. You can fight the government, but can't fight the divine plan. Man, see, hell is hot, and you're gonna need a lot more than that little church fan. All the true believers locked in, they can make dua for your brothers, because this dunya got to sway out of hand. Sometimes I wonder if I stayed in the pen, if it would have been better for my soul in the end, knowing I'm gonna have to answer for a boatload of sin. Save yourself from a fire whose steel is stones and men.
Word. For sure.
All right.
Okay. I like that. So yeah, that was the intro round. We're gonna throw the ticker on there. Intro warm-up round. You wanna go ahead, Ube?
All right. I find myself looking for mustard seeds, not quite knowing which mountain to move, but the mountain is me. They say that envy kills oftentimes, but I shoot 5 rounds out of 45s that often get knocked down by 9. And I ain't talking about caskets and bullets. I'm talking about words and periods and sentences and paragraphs that enter into your mind through your ear canal and muddy it up and fill your soul just the same. It's the spirit of love. It's the spirit of life. I entertain my brain with these insane things on the late night as I flip through screens, often flickering, tick, tock, Instagram, Facebook, watch. Over and over, caught up in these soliloquies, these empty memories, and thinking that these things are simply here to entertain me, not keep me captured and enraptured inside of a device. Man, I'm failing at this. I'm getting blown and shown every time that I walk around, and I'm not seeing that the world is ran by clowns, so I continue to dance to a cold dig, like, what's up, my dig? Not knowing the corruptibility of my very own flesh, that I've been so confined by the very thing that I often contest is the thing that I speak, which is English. It was sold a slave's master's race, but the master was a slave in me because I chose it. I chose to give up my power. I chose to give up my freedom. I chose to give up my life. I chose to give up my wife and future kids for what? For the love of the game, the chase of the fame, a bag, a jump, a hop, a skip, somebody else's fame, somebody else's glory, the Gucci's, the Louis, the batons on my feet, the red bottoms that get wild and go down when these girls in the streets and they out there slinging for what? They don't even know, just trying to catch up to some bag so someone can call them a hoe, but they don't even think so no more. death becomes them, but it become me too if I pay attention to it.
Word, word.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm a gas can spit from the dome in the brain, and I'm trying to own it. Did 20 years independent, I didn't understand it was my pension, spiritual at attention, not to mention locked up 2 weeks before high school graduation. But let's stop playing. I wasn't graduating, but I was graduating from streets pen and street competence and trying to blaze and run the game. Got on that gray goose, and things wasn't the same. Where have I gone? Gray skies, blues on blues and tombstones. I was in them oranges. They say that's the new black, but that's whack. I got some ideas about being black, but I'm gonna hold them, save on for that. Got 25 more shades to go on Facebook quotes. And because it's all from the dawn and I'm 209 on homegrown, organizing. Came back after 20 years in, and I found fate to put in my purpose and raise community then. And I won't bend Hellraiser, sit from Hell's Pager, came back to Stockton 209. And as my community in my city, we was not a stranger to hard work. Now they got us in this COVID spurt, and that's another diaspora. But where we going? What we showing? Who we knowing? Who we owing? Build your credit or be a credit or get discredit because we got youngsters killing for dollars and cents. That don't make sense because the real value, as we know, is credit. So how do we get in? How do we fit in? How do we pray for the blues? Pray for the shoes and build stocks in it as we trying to shoot the shots in live and die for Jordans. They shooting the shots and designing more prisons and more prisons and more prisons, right? The brother Malcolm is studying isms so he can come back and teach how to break through isms. I say, let's get it.
Real
I say,
freestyle too.
Oh yeah. For
so,
sure. I'm trying to build
no,
my
but
freestyle talent.
uh,
But definitely. But really, I'm gonna kind of just take around to kind of go over and recognize just utilizing word, right? And just how important that is. Cause I know we was on the yards of interested, Malcolm, like I seen you move whole dorms, right? What a $50 seemingly tinkering keyboard,
Yeah.
right? And I was like, that's to me, I was like, oh shit, that was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Make a joyful noise. And
uh,
I'm trying to understand more. So even within myself, as I begin to erect my vibration, right, as it kind of blends into my purpose for work. And folks, I mean, you're getting better at your freestyle, right? And I said, not necessarily the freestyle. I'm getting better at putting ideas together in real time and connecting them to basically my reality, my emotion, my paradigms, my vision, my perspectives, and being able to articulate that. And I think that's an art and a gift within itself. And you start teaching youngsters how to code switch and navigate their environments and kind of deal with that. So if each can kind of just speak on like just the meaning of the word, right, and just from whatever perspective you want to share on that, and kind of give to the folks.
Huh. I'll let you go first, brother. Cool.
yeah, that gift is something that I too, I'm seeking to cultivate
Mm,
because it's a very powerful gift. It accentuates your ability to understand, you
mm,
know, to understand the spoken word, the meaning. Saturday we did a exercise, a mind video to tap in what animal represents you when you are incarcerated, and go on Google and put the name of the animal in, and then pick your picture, because there's a
okay.
lot of different pictures that's going to pop up with that, but it's only going to be one that really is going to picture you as that particular animal, because at all times those animals can take a lot of shape, fashions, and form. And when we dealing with the language that comes in, that mental, that visual language, when we can pull those cues out. That's why the hieroglyphics was so powerful. I was thinking the other day they looking for all of these ways to send more and more and more information, but little do they know that the original ways with which we communicated all of that. One thing, multiple things in one character, in one form. Reaching back into the ancient layer verbiage. Your Arabics, your, uh, your Jewish. You know what I'm saying? A lot of that stuff had a lot deep meaning, really deep, really very powerful meanings that came. You were actually, you knew what you were saying. You knew the power that you were invoking when you said those words. Now that has been lost. People just throw words around recklessly, you know, saying, "Oh, I just said something." No, what you said meant something.
Yeah.
It conveyed something. Whether you chose for it to or not, it conveyed something. Do you understand really the true meaning of what it said means to me?
That's right. Yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah. And
saying? What it means to
I
me.
would add, even on top of it conveying something, it pushed out an energy in creation,
Hey,
right? And that energy is going to continue to spiral, to circulate until it becomes accountable with its correspondent, right? So whatever
exactly.
energy you pushed out through word is going to find a correspondent, right? And it's going to either do what we consider harm or it's going to do good, right? In the
Right,
beginning was the word was without form. What puts form into it, right? So the word is a vibration. It's
right.
without form. It doesn't carry form. It's the energy component to it. But once it finds a form, it what does it imbues and that's what vitality comes from. It gives it
Right.
that vitality.
And your words create your reality. You can only see what you think you're seeing.
Hmm.
Because somebody else might like look at, oh, that's a tomato. I don't even like tomatoes. Somebody else might look and see ketchup and turn that into Heinz.
Hmm.
$1 billion industry off
Like
that same
there,
tomato.
right? Speak on
Your
that. Like,
reality is going to determine. Oh, I look at him. He ain't nothing but a dog. He black. Hold on. Why you even using that word in concerning me?
hmm.
That's not even the hue of my skin complexion. Why are you calling me black, nigga? Right? What do those
Hmm.
things mean? Those words that you got wrapped up in. What does that mean? What you saying? Do you
Yeah.
understand why you saying it? No. But you want me to understand? No, I don't overstand. I understand. I understand where you coming from. But I'm gonna say a few words that hopefully can help you heal from that. Because I know if I say the words that you're looking for, and this false sense of me versus you that you think is unreal, that you are something different from me, that you something outside from me, as if the creator didn't create us all and breathe within us all, and we all operating under the power of the creator first and foremost. The very first trick is the trick of divisive.
Hmm.
We are not unto each other, but nah, we are. We are. If that character exists in you, it has no other choice but to exist in me. That's how I'm able to recognize it.
That's the correspondent. Most definitely.
uh, I think first things first, that I would say one of the only things that differentiates human beings from the rest of created things, even things in the unseen realm, right? Is
Hmm.
that we have the ability to record uh, our speech, to record our words, and
Hmm.
pass it down through time. If a lion roars, it roars one time and then it dissipates into, into the atmosphere. And
Hmm.
you know, 5 generations down the line, his cubs have no recollection of that roar. Now,
Okay.
means you can write a roar onto paper, and 100 years, 1,000 years down the line, somebody could pick that up and be riled up to act.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
We had the ability to do that. This
right.
is this is why, this is why the pen, even when we go into the holy scriptures, man, the pen is sworn by. The pen is a heavy thing. It says Allah does
Hmm.
not swear by insignificant things. The pen is sworn by, right? So, so for me, I really noticed the power of words in a negative sense. I remember when I first went to the pen and I was writing all that street dope boy pimping type stuff. You know what I mean? Shoot 'em up, bang bang, all that type of stuff. And I had an old celly that I didn't even recognize his face, and I ran into him like 2-3 years down the line. He had went home and came back to the pen and some more stuff. Youngster from over. He was like, "Hey, what up, homie? Remember me?" What the what? I ain't gonna say his name. He was like, "Remember me, man?" I'm like, "Yeah, I remember you now. Yeah, I didn't remember you at first." So then I walked away, and then he started spitting these lines that I had spit to him when I was in the cell with him years ago, and it was some foul, vulgar, obscene stuff. It was witty. Don't get me wrong. It was witty and catchy, but it was nothing though. Like, you know what I mean? It was filth. And I was like, dang, this dude remembers that them little few lines from all them years ago. I met this guy one time. So I said, you know, if you can have the power to influence a person's mind like that for the negative, you could also do it for the positive, right? So I think that, you know, for me, because I try to look at everything based on a deeper level too. We can break things, dissect things down to the physical, but also I got to look at things through the spiritual, through my own paradigm, and through the way, through the modality that I practice. So I know that for me, you know, the book that is conceived by 1 billion people around the world as the speech of God, almost 2 billion, right? Is the Quran, the very first thing that was revealed in that book. Iqra, Bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. Iqra. And some say it means read, but another translation of Iqra is recite. Recite. So this is the first of any movement. You know what I mean? This is one of the most powerful things to spark a movement is words, and also, you know, the divine methodology of creation is kun fayakun, be, and it is. So we can look at even creation as being spawned through words. Of course, these words we have once again, you say words have a deeper meaning than what we understand. Of course, you know, we can't look at the meaning of this and think, you know, that we're thinking about a big man in the sky just saying be la 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 la. You know, we talking about some deep stuff, but the imagery that we're given is Allah don't need to sit down and kun fia kun, be, and it is. This is potent, man. This is the power to build, the power to create, and the power to destroy through words. So, you know, and also one last thing, because the word, one thing that's just as potent as the word and goes hand in hand with the word is the pen. Like I already said, for the brothers that been in the pen, you know the potency of that pen. You know the potency. And when they say that the pen is mightier than the sword, they ain't lying. You can you can get a police to run in the opposite direction with a knife, but you can get them running to you and give and begging you for forgiveness with that pen.
With that pen, exactly.
With that pen. And run into that property room and trying to get you anything that you want.
All right. What would you like? What how
do
can
you
you make
want?
this right?
Yeah. Just drop it. Just crumple up what you put on that paper. Crumple it and
Take that
drop
away.
the
Make
word.
that go away.
Get rid of those words.
Definitely. No, that's a set. That's a set. Okay. So yeah, I invited folks who's in the chat to kind of interact with the chat. We're gonna be watching and observing it. And like I said, we're gonna add that to the freestyle. Drop a bar, somebody gonna pick it up. Drop a word, somebody gonna like really. So for me, we're gonna get into round 2, which is just freestyle. So really, without further ado, and I want to really spotlight that as we're engaging and interacting, like, man, like write something, write it down, right, and kick it off. Something Malcolm said, I'm gonna start mine off with something that I picked up from the brother Malcolm, right? So because like I'm practicing the gas, he's gonna be all just freestyle on my end as best as I can hold it. But if I said roars never recorded, records never roaring, My folks is in the folk choke holding ghetto occupation. 2020's been the year of vision. Now 2021 come in, put in your application. Beyond the application, can't work in the field, because if you a field, then I'm not field, right? If you free, then let's be free. The wise man will create more opportunities than he finds or beg for, hand out, hand down, or a leg for. Alhamdulillah, count your blessings. But ain't no receipt, so a cash get paid for. Stockton 209, survival mode for about 100 years. Redlining, that's how it go. For about 100 years. School to prison pipeline. When we gonna save the kids? When we gonna stop begging them? The system gonna be the system, because that's just what it is. It'll never sleep, so we must wake up. It's way too deep for us to blame us. Black on black is what? An illusion. Or son, God's son, Gas one. Roars never recorded, records never roaring. Roars never recorded, records never roaring. That's all I got right now. For sure, for sure.
All right. All right. So you gonna set it off, Malcolm, or you want me to get on?
Go ahead. You can go ahead and kick it off.
Let me set it off. So. Whoa, 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 whoa. They casting spells off their tongue and call it spelling, not realizing what they be. It is. It often comes into existence with rivalry. There's a competition, you see. Between weak and strong, between short and long, between high and low. It's a duality. These mental mind traps that they spew from their tongues, it burns like alcohol makes you numb. It's a cold way to go, but it's hot at the same time. If you know what I mean, you check your soul daily. You wipe off those smudges of words that stick to you on curbs and those things that you burn into your eyeballs when you look and you see a little bit too much and understand often too little. But yet we continue to say these phrases we've learned and haven't studied, but we acquiesce into other levels and think that we're above. But assuredly we are below. Looking our way up, looking out, never looking within for the actual sin. Is that my understanding often changes an enemy into a friend, but a friend into an enemy if I choose to see it the other way around. What is this meaning? What does it mean for me to be ashamed? What does it mean for me to have guilt? Why am I lost in a strait thinking that currency is currently, which is that what I'm without, not really knowing what I'm about until my life is lost. But I continue to listen and be captured up in these words, these spellings of world gone by. You see, a lion cub doesn't remember his father's roar, but we can when we record, if you know what I mean. That'll make your heart soar just a little bit more. But oftentimes, fall inside these traps and fantasies of these men who are often blind and choose to use their words as cages, constitutions for revolutions and institutions of abuse, power, and rage. Locked within. I'm only going to allow you to know what I choose for you to know, and I'm going to spell it just so. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Perception and reality defined.
Word. I say.
All right. I usually don't freestyle, but I'm gonna go ahead and freestyle. You know what I
mean? Okay. There's no sun here.
Okay.
So I'm going not piggyback, but lion back. Words that weren't recorded. Words that weren't recorded. You gotta Be careful for them words that weren't recorded,
mm,
because some of y'all daughters is out there busting it open like windows that wasn't boarded.
mm,
Treasures hoarded. Treasures hoarded get stolen when you die. That's why the best treasures are the ones you hold inside. And you got to really keep your prizes inside, because people these days be giving people the evil eye. And why? Because they don't have as much as the next guy. I try to fly by and ride by and live in the neighborhoods where there's drive-bys. And some of
mm,
you dudes is weird, like the monsters on sci-fi, got five eyes, looking at things that ain't none of your business, looking at some things that ain't your business. Some of y'all people are definitely gonna be a witness. Take the stand on your man and your
mm,
grandman and your granddad. Damn,
mm,
it's a cold game. See, people in the streets be trying to get fame off of you because they ain't got no name. It's a cold game, but it's
mm,
the same thing. See, words that ain't recorded are movements that don't happen.
mm,
I wish we had more engineers and scientists and less people that all they wanted to do was start rapping, tap dancing, stepping, fetching in a pool with a fishing pole. But ain't nothing that they catching
mm,
except for new beefs, new police, and new streets. And
mm,
what do we get out of the deal? Nothing. Selling your grandmama's house after for a few measly dollars.
mm.
It's 2021 and you still popping your collar. I mean, when will you take off the colonizer's outfit? Be on the streets, but sometimes I feel like I'm still in the pen.
Mm.
Lockdowns and quarantines. 40 days I've been in the shoe. And I mistrust my brother. And I look at him sideways when I hear him say, I chew. They tell us to step back when we really need to be giving people hugs and daps.
Hmm.
I'm not telling you to put your life in danger, but just think twice before they tell you some cat.
Hmm. All cat back to back.
Word, word,
Off the
word.
top, off the top. Yeah, you was about to get into that. I already know.
Word, word. Sure.
For sure, for sure. I like that. Yeah, I like that for the round, not the free. I like, man. I've been trying to pick it up.
Yeah.
So like, I was writing some shit, some stuff down right now, which you was going through. I'm gonna try to pass. I like that one about the movements that don't happen.
Right. Words are, man.
Right?
Yeah.
No,
Movements
no, for
happen. It
sure.
can be just in one line. It can be a whole movement in there.
Oh, movement.
A
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
whole movement in there. They're
Mm-hmm.
gonna seize a hold of that and take that to the next level.
Yeah, yeah.
Like what you were saying, brother. That woke me up too.
Right.
Uh, to into a youngster. Uh, then when I went down home to the county, I was doing my time, and the youngster man was told me everything I had on
Dang.
from head to toe, every position that I was in that entire night. Man, I seen you do why, woo, woo, why. Oh,
Mm,
whoa. 16 years old. And at the time, that was what, 6 years? That had been 6 years.
dang.
And so I'm looking at him and he in jail, and I'm wondering, like, what part did I have to play in that?
Hmm.
You know, what role did I have to play in that? Because he had light in his eyes. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
You know that seven people like, oh man, and you can tell it had a profound effect for you. I don't even remember what I had on, but for you to remember every single thing, we have our words have effects, our actions have effects. Everything that we do has an effect on other human beings and life in general.
That part. That part. No. That's real. That's real deal. And it's interesting, right? Because like really just setting up this platform just as a space, and then you enlightening and kind of going and you peeling layers where it's like now this platform is even more important than I even first considered, right? Because this platform is a space where we can come and we can share a good word amongst each other, right? Those folks most marginalized, most vulnerable, right? Where folks even in the audience could come in and tune in and listen to a good word, right? Or even like I say, join in and gas in the freestyle in the chat. The more that I'm experiencing a lot of these dynamics, what's going on with COVID-19 and that whole social distance, right? And like you say, I, like I'll be the first to admit I ain't no doctor or nothing, right? But my experience also has taught me, and I'll be the first to admit within this country where it's like I don't trust all doctors, right? Like so come off that, like period, right? Because the other thing that they're not telling you that I didn't done research on, chronic social distancing has harmful effects. So especially our people, we're the most social people like in creation. Like we created creation, right? It's patterned after us. So I think really just in being honest about our words, the more we can express that vibration. Cause really, that's what it is—a vibration. We give so many like negative words to our folks, right? You walk in Stockton, you can't even say hi to folks without some folks try punching you out, right? And it's the energy behind that. Like I said, I understand our cities in survival mode, and most similarly situated cities are in survival mode. So I think this space allows us, especially if used right and supported in the right way, it allows us at least a vibration to kind of combat that, right? And if you just tune in just for a Friday night, or if you just share the recording, it allows us a vibration in the space to kind of get into, right? So I'm always appreciative of that. So I'm gonna go ahead and cipher continues. I see my sister Ashley Lynn Hampton in the chat. Can anyone else hear? Is my video soundless? Or is it just my dear? And I hope it goes on impact. Jabari Hody say he's good. So that's what it is. Isaiah tapped in. That's the battle. 209. Shout out to you for them 50 shirts, bro. And the hoodies too. Throw it in. That's what we do. I remember spreading yours in the pen. How much camaraderie can be built around ramen soups. Oh shoot. Somebody telling the truth. I keep a kisu in my boot from 5 to the 10. And then I started to put books into my repertoire. I started thinking more before I had to harm the next brother who looked like me. I started learning my history and started to decide, like, I'm not killing images that look like me, because that's what the colonizers did. Who would I be following their script? Nah, I'm a reevaluate my narrative. Oh, Ashley, she finally got it. Now she's in and she can hear as my mind revolves and spins. So clear. Stockton 209 all up in my chat. I'm developing my freestyle as I come closer to my vision impact. No longer black. I'm an aboriginal. But that's a different story. I keep telling you, 25 more to go. I say. 25 more to go. I say. And I'm going to hit you with the real I spray. Knowledge in this, because I use my time wisely. Didn't waste time. Like Kendrick Lamar say, why is the only people that make time is the system? Nah, man. That ain't fine. It's the system. Nah, man. That ain't fine. They try to reverse my history, but I begin to teach myself and pass my own spelling bees. Windows open, but nobody idolizing me. Windows open, but ain't nobody idolizing me. Always scoping, looking up another tree, barking up the wrong tree. Who we gonna be? People decide. We been doing this same thing for about a century. When we gonna get free? When we stop waiting on them to free? Chain breaker, change maker. I'm a hit you with the haymaker just to free him, Jonathan Jack, if I have to. But wait a minute, them folks are coming get you, spooky, boo hoo, Casper. I might have to go and Dasper. Hit me with the jangler. I'm just Gasper. Watching the chat. Let me get back to staying focused so I can continue to cipher. Word.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Change breaker, change maker.
You feel me?
Yep.
For sure.
You want to go, cool?
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Okay, I'll go. Okay. I'm from a city where it's grimy and wicked. Everybody throwing up gang signs and they pimping. Dollars with the white men on it. We are trying to get it. Some are going to the pen. Others are dying to get it. Lying to get it. But it really isn't all that serious. It don't matter if you're poor, just a little curious. You know the result because it really ain't mysterious. Keep sending one day you gonna learn what theory is, period. Look at the myriad of angels around me. Bunch of crabs in the barrel, how my town be. Just for standing up, the devils want to down me like Eunice in the whale jail cells trying to drown me. I grew up in the West Coast streets where we had one rule: don't forget your heat. And the homie said if he don't play, his kids can't eat. Now he's headed to the pen where the rent ain't cheap. I do a BB and scoop, chucking up the deuce. I got a strong grind, you would think I'm on the juice. I got a couple pins inside, time to let them loose. Cause I was young and dumb and numb, packing the deuce. Heavy metal in the ghetto, that's how the story goes. First I bust and then deny it like the Maury show. This is just a reminder, if you already know there's more to rap than catching hoes, you need to dump them trashy flows. Baggy clothes and a head full of Nazi dreads. Got these dads thinking that we sell illegal meds and check it. Even if you committed every crime they expect, can't change the fact that they serving us, but they ain't protecting. I've been to prison and deserved every minute in. But I done ran into some people that were innocent. They tell the state that they're making criminals penitent. But he's a number and the number makes dividends. Sentencing all of us to the max. Brown and blacks, Asians and the white boys, they consider trailer trash in the hole. Eating cheese sandwiches, taking a bird bath, waiting for mail, feeling heartbroken when the guard walked past. Start reading books, hoping that it will make my time go fast. Came to the dean and I pray that I stay up on this path, invested in my soul. It's the only thing that's going to last. They say tell the Lord your plans if you want to make him laugh. I plan on flipping tables over like I'm Jesus. I want to be legendary but rather be rich. Life is a paper, the shahada is my thesis. My biggest fear is to die as a polytheist. Sometimes I feel like hopping on a boat and leaving. We're not the same, you don't believe what I believe in, but it's a miracle that I'm still breathing. The reason I grew up out in the West. Thug living is what I repped. Just like Pac and all the rest. But Biggie said it the best. I'm living life after death, beautiful death of a zombie that lived for the flesh. I went from an animal, Lucifer's pet, to a true Homo sapien, standing erect. Now I reflect, light like a mirror. The message in life couldn't get any clearer. I must be a doer, not only a hearer, to rejuvenate my soul like aloe vera. Glue my ain't scared of Greek tombs with a bear hug. Might spend the whole afternoon on a prayer of the struggles we face are only to prepare us. This life travels quickly, zoom like Carreras, and we'll never catch up to the ancients, because we got science and religion separated the Big Bang Theory. I am not here to debate it, because even if it bangs you, somebody had to bang it. Ain't it strange how it seems everything in the scheme works like one universal machine? A superbulous being has allowed me to die, spend days in the grave, then return me to life. Got an urge to unite and a yearning to fight. I was yearning for stripes with a burnish night as I lurked in the night, doing dirt with a knife. I was searching for light, just a jerk with no sight, but now I can see, now I can breathe. If the Lord calls me, then now I can leave, resting in peace with all of my peeps. No more top ramen, just heavenly feast. But I don't grieve, cause I believe whatever happens was destined to be, whether it's prison or death in the streets. Sheesh.
Word. For sure, for sure. That's right there.
He wore an African chain, walking down the hallway, big boy stepping, moving past the tennis man, holding words like it's a weapon. We was kneeling on rugs at the top saying salam. Salam alaikum in the morning when we down. We was pulling up hand signs, peace, all it is. Let them brothers in the space. We was moving through the crowd. But you ain't gonna lock it down right now. You understand the missions in prayer. We was getting by, how these were. We was showing their love that they serve. Almighty. They were behind the knees with these words. They're behind the life we serve. It was behind the way that we curve. The Almighty. It was down on prayer rugs and kneeling sometimes. It was Assalamu alaikum when we were moving through lines. It was Hotep and Hotep Mots we came through the door. Got respect to everybody in the show. It was like MC, MD, and MA. It was like them in the building we was climbing in the maid. It was like holding on the blast, waiting for the lines. Ain't nobody cross his line if the brother comes fine. Getting it down behind bars. Up in Tallahatchie on Mars. You know what it is on phones, just calling in strikes like a drone when me almost home. Now we on the streets and we living what? I seen my brother, now we got a buck. Seen a couple poets say a man in the prison became, so now you know it. So we down on his own echo chamber, seeing how you live your life. When you make it rhyme right, when you make it shine tight, it's what it's like, it's what it's like, like. I just want to say, man, it's a beautiful moment. You know what I mean? Because each one of you brothers, we done been through multiple places. And you was always walking, walking your line. You know what I'm saying? Uh, we left our shadows, our mirrors, our reflections out there. That was the fake us. You know what I'm saying? That character we had picked up. It was a part of us. You know what I'm saying? Truth be told, just a part of that ourselves that we allowed to come and step. We allowed our jinn to step in, and our shaitan or whatever it is. We allowed that to step in and get the best of us, and we became that. But after we shook that, we walked them lines.
Mm-hmm.
and that shows out here. You know what I mean? That shows out here in this work we do, and I'm just appreciative that we can start, be tapping in, you know, because these type of conversations are few and far between. Just to be honest.
For sure, for
You know
sure.
what I'm saying? And not from the book learn, but from the like, nah, we walk this and know we in a place where ain't a whole lot gonna manifest, but when you need these brothers right here gonna open them doors up. We
Mm-hmm.
ain't just talking. You know what I'm saying? So
So,
that's what I know for sure about these two brothers sitting in front of me. Like we ain't just talk, you know. And so I'm just glad to be in y'all brothers' company out here on this side because it is a general reminder of the wars that's been fought and the battles that's still going on. You know what I'm saying? Because the wars and real wars we done been through, but it's time, to really step in and gear these soldiers up for what's coming down this line.
yeah, ooh. Yeah, for sure.
And these what we say these words, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? These words and what we represent, man, that brings real real
Mm-hmm.
real power to it.
No, yeah, yeah,
A lot
yeah,
of times it's the speaker.
yeah.
We have to take personal responsibility as well, because it's done been a lot of people done told us some whole bunch of real cool stuff. We don't remember none of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
saying, but some speakers, some who have been given that gift like us, we've been given that gift. People gonna remember what you say. You can just say this much, and
Mhm.
everybody else has said a whole lot, but you, oh man, I remember what the brother Malcolm said. Oh man, I remember what the brother Chad said. I done met people on other yards that remember both of you brothers. Oh, I know exactly who you talking about that said that.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I know. Oh,
Yeah,
you talking about? Yeah, I'm talking about. Oh, you talking about the brother Malcolm? What guy just yeah, you know what I'm
mhm.
saying? So
For sure,
it,
for
it,
sure.
it's
Now,
magnified.
the brother
Mag-
Jabari Holder, he in the chat, he said, I mean, he said something that was real sort of lifting up. He said it's not in y'all, or it's in us, not on us, right? So I think one of the things that
Right.
we was able to lift up, and like you say, like it's interesting because we can validate the credit of each of us. Like rather than like Malcolm, he ain't got to brag on himself because like I'm here, like
Right.
I've seen this brother like move like institutions like and change the dynamic just through song, just
Right.
through vibration. Like I say, this man had a rinky. I remember when we first I was in E building with you, and you
Right.
pulled out the keyboard, right? And then my thought, like the first thought was a lie, like that's a toy. Like why would you? What you go? What sound you gonna produce out of that? That's like literally a toy. It's like a $35 keyboard. It was orange. We're gonna take it's orange and black. Who gonna take it serious, right?
Right. Right.
But when you got to playing, right, and I start seeing like whites and Mexicans and blacks, right, and they're like no boundaries no more in the day room, just coming and circling around the table, right, and I'm like at first I'm standing up like okay, what's going on the crack? Oh, they do this all the time when you pull out the keyboard.
Mhm.
CO is coming out of the booth to
Mhm.
come into the dorm and the pot just to hear, and then like you taught me when I worked on one of my first songs when you helped me write. And you say, like, man, you don't have to be no singer, like with no hell of a like Mariah Carey type ass voice, right? He
Right.
said, but as long as you stay within the vibrations of your own vocal cord, right?
Right.
Anyone can make a joyful noise unto creation. And I was
Right.
like, oh, I said, that's dope. That's deep. Like that's what the word vibration is, right? Most singers, what do? They sound good and they have a distinguished sound because they figured out their vibration, right? They
Right.
figured out their vocal cord and what range feels good. I tell people in one of my most fondest stories, I always find back to the mentor and the comrade and the master Bob Nestor Marley, right? And people know Bob Marley now. It's like okay, Bob Marley is this big legend, right? But when Bob Marley first started out, Bob Marley was a backup singer. He was not in the foreground. It was
Mhm.
just the Wailing Wail. It wasn't a Bob Marley. It was just the Wailing Wailers,
Mhm.
right? And as his knowledge started to grow, right, as his initiation and like what he was into, right, the Lion of Judah, Naya Biggie, and understanding that, he started to raise his and elevate his vibration, and
Right.
his music got better naturally, right?
Right.
He connected more with his vision, with his purpose, with his steps, and that's what I find in just music and just word, right? So I'm gonna mix. I'm gonna do a blend of I had a chorus and that was it. and I never like finished it, right? But I'm gonna utilize that in freestyle because I think it's important.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we climb trees, boy. It's food up there. Project living in welfare, man. This life ain't fair. Oh God, don't let me drown in a sea of fear. Of course, we climb trees, boy. It's food up there. Huh. Hieroglyphics explicit from the Nile Valley and land. They laughing at the African, said he was built from 8 man. But that was our agility, our spirituality, our hieroglyph. We had talents. We didn't have to smoke a spiff to be enlightened. Although we did that too. I would have had one or two before the cipher and do goo. Yard talk, yard walk. From hood blocks to hood cops that try to knock us off, want us sawed off and hauled off. School to prison pipeline. But brothers like you and I start reversing that. And we start building a prison to school pipeline. Gotta here start doing that. Project Rebound, word to that. Head nodding, head bobbing, giving back, building community, from building yards in unity, from holding kitsus in the boot and dividing stuff like, oh, only eulogies. But I matured over that and start to recognize that the seeds that I plant might grow back and I might have to face that. Now that's karma. Huh. No more hood drama. Huh. No more silly banters or banters for those that just want to talk. Facebook and social media makes everybody an idol. Huh. Idol worshiper. Remember that M-Trade? 1, 2, 3. I'm not on one, I'm on 3. I'm on 2. Jabari say facts. I see you. Jermaine Rockenheim is watching. He just joined the chat. Isaiah Battle asked a question. If you can tell your 25-year-old something, what would it be? Oh, yeah, I'm gassing, freestyling, and I'm fluent because you can see me engaging with the chat. G, thanks. Sis, I see you. Fire. Yeah, I know. But which one? It's 3 as we go. Let me get back on point. The cipher must continue working on rhetorical designs on the menu, working on rhetorical refine so my king fu and my kinzu be kicking like a kinsu, a jinsu. Huh. Word.
Word. Yep. Yes.
But no, I just reflect that. It's interesting, right? Like you were saying, one of the most important things that I think I kind of attenuated to when I went in there and just studying just for me and my spirituality was, like you say, just how important Hekaus and words of power were for the ancient Kemets or the Kamaus or the ancient Egyptians as they're also understood, right? And in most traditions that come from indigenous Aboriginal folks of human beings, there was always an oral tradition. And I think a lot of that gets lost because we've now become so dependent on text, right? Codex and context, and we always need something explained to us. But I think when we understand and we kind of carry that vibration, it helped me understand, like, man, a lot of stuff is not for us to kind of know and explain. Like, what else are we leaving for God? Like, what else are we leaving for creation? Like, man is trying to like reverse that Tower of Babel and climb it back up, only to confuse. So just as important a lot of times as the words that is coming out, I think, is that a vibration. And I know, especially Ube, we was kind of on that heavy as we was kind of for facilitating the meta matters and kinetic studies and those things, right? But I think like this platform is just real precious to me because we have an opportunity to kind of advance that in the youth. So now our folks can come up and they're able to navigate in these environments and like communicate better. I think one of the biggest problems in our communities becomes a communication issue, right? And when we distort the communication, we just give off negative vibration, and we're getting in conflict with the vibration, not necessarily because we hate each other or we're just innately like demonized as if they right with it. We don't buy into that. But what I noticed in our communities, especially these impacted communities, is a communication issue, right? So imagine if we start lifting up more of these ciphers, right, and getting folks back to that practice, like how we practice our humanity in our spaces. And I think word, it definitely has a big contribution to play in really understanding that role, right? And the parents understanding like the children, like say we've been beat up and traumatized and beat out so many times. I think we need to start demanding that level of cultural competency. Like I say, when our children get back into school and for whatever reason, because they walk in a pack or a group of 3 to 6 or even 8, if they enter the classroom in a freestyle cipher, how does the teacher have the cultural competency to one, engage in the cipher, or at least have enough sense not to disrupt it, right? Because there's more that's going on than like meets the eye, right? So it's not just like uh, some ghetto kids talking shit or just rambling, right? It's an energy exchange, right? And it's probably that energy that's been exchanged that whole way walking to school, right? And it's going to be picked up and exchanged walking home from school. It creates a pathway, right? So I think we just need to have a deeper listening to ourselves, to each other, and most definitely our youth. I would love to have a platform like this, and this is just a model. Like, say, this is not like something that's mine. Like working on rhetorical design award, this is a platform for any city, right? That needs it. Where's the youth at when they're expressing their word, right? When they can get on a screen yard, like who's developing that? You should be kicking and facilitating this stuff amongst their own cohort and peers, right? And we should support them and watch it as an audience and allow them to go, right?
Exactly.
Like stop getting in their way and trying to like organize the shit out of everything. Like we don't need to come up with all the answers in the movement. That's what they got us fooled. Like that's what colonizers do. Like with all due respect, they try to
Right.
like with all the carpetbaggers. Like we don't have all the answers. That's not for us.
Nah.
Like
Yeah.
everything has its space and its purpose. Like and for us to kind of assume, or I think we've been caught up in that trickery.
Right. Yeah. Give them the tools. To answer Isaiah Battle, man, give them the truth. What I would tell to a 25-year-old youth, myself included, man, stop living off the highs.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Stop living off them highs. Stop living off of them negative vibrations. Those words. A lot of times they don't even realize that the things that you speak, the energy with which you speak it out of your mouth, it brings death.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It brings sickness. It brings illness. Is these negative vibrations to the point where some of them are strong enough to suck the very life out of another being
Mm-hmm.
through constant negative vibrations. Like the brother was saying the other day, man, the grass don't even grow over there.
Mm.
Something wrong with that is so negative. The grass don't even grow.
Man, right?
Knowing when you end up type and being able to recognize it, because we got off of where we was from originally, we can't even recognize these dead zones. Like, wait a minute, hold on, man. This is a dead zone over here. It don't even
Mm-hmm.
it don't even vibrate. I'm not going over here. That
Yeah.
vibration ain't right, but we get stuck. We get stuck in it and we fall prey, to these things, these negative things, these uh words that we get caught up in. These ways that we see ourselves, the way that we see our queens, the way we see our kings, the way that we feed into what these people on these news is saying. There's a reason why they showing you getting gunned down every day, a representation of
Speak on
you
that.
getting gunned down every day. I
Yeah.
reject and I rebuke all that, sucker, because you ain't finna just bop me in the street like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Not me. Not when I was out
Yeah.
there with the full festivities. Nah, you weren't finna just bop me like that.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
accepting that as my reality. Just hey, I'm just gonna just please don't know. That ain't finna be our reject. We not gonna know.
Mm-hmm.
No.
No, that's crazy. That's deep because it's like you
That's
you bring it to another level where it's like it's important. Like now, like we're in a position, especially as a people, like we have to push up on the media. Like, hey man, with all the respect, like man, we like man, cool it on all them dead vibes, right? Because
right,
y'all keep projecting through this lens
right,
that y'all controlling,
right,
and it's like
right.
our folks is dealing with that shit, right? That's
Exactly.
the with our folks. So like, with
Yeah.
all the respect, we're gonna ask you to cool it with that, right?
Right.
Like it should be like a margin of like, hey, 25% of like that's all you get. If
That's
that,
it.
like 10% of
Right.
like all this negative shit. Other than
Right.
that, if you ain't
Right.
got 90% of like good vibes coming through, I mean, with all due respect, shut the fuck up. Turn
Right.
your shit off. You watch Channel
Right.
Zero, right?
Right.
Because it's like the vibration becomes that important, right?
That
The
important.
voice become that important. We sitting there watching the same stuff. Black death, black suicide, black genocide, black this, black that, whitewash, black that, and it's like Are we really sitting here in 2021 going into the beginning of the year assuming like that shit is not having an effect? If it's not having an effect, why the hell do they keep continually perpetuating and doing it? Putting
Exactly.
millions of dollars into it not to have an effect. We gotta wake up. Yeah. Of course it
Right.
has an effect. And they
Of
know it.
course.
And
And
they
they
know
know
it.
it.
Right?
It's
And
a
they wait for us
strategy.
to know
Right.
it. That's
Right.
that part. They waiting for us to wake up when they're like, hey man, stop. You ain't gonna keep doing that to our children, period. That's out.
Right.
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 So
That's
like
how.
we get up on news media, ABC, we're not impressed with none of that. You're
Right.
not going to continue to be putting 90% showing our images, defacing us, showing us against us, saying, no, that's out. And we continue to that. We continue to like what?
Right, right. It's like we accept these things, we accept these colors, we accept these boundaries to the line where another person can walk into a room and simply because the hue of their skin, you feel some type of way. It has power over you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not just gonna simply deny or accept you because of your color. I don't know what's up underneath that hood. It could be any type of entity up under that hood. I don't know what's up under there. I'm not gonna just open my door because we have the same hue or because we do not. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
read your spirit first. I'm gonna use spiritual discernment on you first to see where your heart and your vibrations lie, and then I'm gonna engage you with my mind. I'm not finna simply look at your flesh. I'm finna not finna be looking at the sides of your butt or the shape of your kidneys in order for me to make a decision about whether you should be my mate or not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not finna get caught up in that. I'm not finna look at the shoes on your feet or the apparel, the clothing name designs to tell me that you have value and worth, that you're important, that you're somebody I need to listen to. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not even gonna place that on upon the things that you might seem to possess. So what you got somewhere to lay down and sleep at night? That don't make you all wise. That just make you want to be safe and warm. That don't mean you got the keys to the kingdom.
Yeah, that
But
part.
he or she, when you walking with that one, and you know you walking with that one, and you say, "Man, ain't no harm gonna come to me." COVID, what's that?
Man,
Right?
all right.
The vibration don't deal with no COVIDs, with no
Yeah,
diseases.
that's interesting. Well, one of the lines I love about Pac, he say, and I can interchange it. He said, crack came and it was strange how it rocked us. Right. And I'm like, that was an interesting like play on words, right? And now it's like really just akin to like, damn, COVID came in and they just like flipped and destroyed like a whole reality. And it's like we didn't like, man, that's the interesting script, right? Is this like we've forgotten ourselves, right, to try to remember how to be somebody else. And that's the whole cultural shift thing with this thing, this double consciousness, like being black in America, right?
Right,
It
right,
needs you to forget yourself to dig up and perpetuate theirs. And one of the things where we forget ourselves is we disconnect from our word. We disconnect, and that's why it's interesting. Where words like to their dictionary, Webster dictionary, all these dictionaries, right? And we have so many words, and it's not like the words are helping bring humanity closer, right?
right, right.
They're distorting this thing that like this tapestry of humanity that's supposed to like connect us and keep us like linked up. And it's like we fallen for it. We didn't drink the Kool-Aid, we didn't built into it, and now it's like how do we kind of reverse that?
Right.
This is why just because a person has words to say, and I think this is where some of us go astray in our quest for knowledge. Because some people, the pursuit of knowledge is to have words to say when a conversation happens. They want words to say, but one of the signs of knowledge is knowing when to shut up, even though you have words to answer. And that's why one of the great scholars said that your words should be like an arrow. Your words should be like an arrow. You should you should be like the archer, and you should make sure that you hit the target that you want to hit when you say your words. And how do you aim and make sure you hit the words? Reflection. You have to reflect. You have to think and say, okay, is what I'm saying going to achieve the objective? If not, sometimes you need to shut up because that's the problem. We got a whole lot of people that got whole lot of words to say.
Right.
But some people
Right.
just need to shut up because their words ain't benefit. They're not benefiting us. And then we got other people that's all they do is talk. And you in this nonprofit world,
Right.
this what they call it, the nonprofit they call it the nonprofit industry or the nonprofit complex, industrial complex.
Right.
You got a whole lot of people that's saying the words that they need to say to get the money.
Right.
Where's the money going?
Where's it going?
You know what I mean? So, and then to the brother's question real quick about what he would tell his 20 what I would tell my 25-year-old self is never assume that you have time.
Right.
Never assume that you have time.
Right.
Even if you're 40 years old, telling your 25-year-old self like don't delude yourself into thinking you have time. Get active.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, you know what I mean. Get active and make sure that what you're doing is actually going to benefit you because I mean we all striving for financial freedom and wealth, but the real transaction is accumulating good deeds. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? It's accumulating them deeds. We seen righteous pharaohs, we seen wicked pharaohs. We seen the ones that pass down knowledge, and we seen the ones that try to take the treasure with them, the physical treasure with them.
Right.
You'll never be prosperous like that.
Right.
You'll never be prosperous like that. The real businessman is the one that does them selfless deeds, abstains from the shameful deeds as much as possible. You know what I mean, and does good without seeking anything in return. You know what I mean. If you leave this world with no good deeds, you leave this world a bankrupt. And if you leave
Right.
this world with plenty of good deeds, you leave this world a rich man. You know what I mean. Accumulate those.
Right.
The greatest people that live, the people we still talking about, is the people that did it from a pure heart because they loved the people and they wanted to do what was best for the people.
Exactly.
We're not talking about Martin Luther King because he had a bunch of money.
Right.
Malcolm X
Exactly.
because he had a bunch of money. They
Right.
loved the people.
Right.
So that's it. I'm not gonna take too
So
long.
that's right.
Uh, it was a beautiful cipher and a beautiful experience hanging out with you brothers. You know what I mean? Like you said, we've been through some times. I hope everybody that's watching still does remember the people on the other side of the fence and know that there's some people living in worse than third world conditions right in America right now in the
Right now.
penitentiaries. I mean,
Right.
and they COVID situation is worse than it is
A
in
lot. Right.
countries in Africa and Southeast Asia and all of that. So,
Right. Oh.
let's do this work to abolish slavery once and for all.
Right.
I mean,
Let's
second
speak
class
against. Let's
citizenship.
speak against that.
Yeah,
You know, and let's build a path through our words. Let's build a path up out of that. You know.
No,
absolutely.
definitely. But now,
But
yeah, I definitely want to lift you brothers up. Thank you, brothers, for hopping on. I'm inclined to just go one last round, get the people something like the brother Mark. I think he gave us a theme. So I would gas on that. Just a final gas for the brothers and sisters inside, right?
right.
Inside that confinement, still understanding that experience. If we can raise a vibration through
Right.
word and that they can feel it, like say they ain't got to tune in to KMEL, like they tuning in to the people's station, right? The people's vibration.
Right.
So yeah, I would lift that up before we spin, and in true fashion, our motto, and try to just go go in. So I'm gonna just go if that's cool. I've been through the pain and back, paid him back. Brother sounding brave, but they lame in fact. Whoa, whoa. I've been through the pain and back, paid him back. Brother sounding brave, but they lame in fact. Whoa, whoa. I've been through the pain, 20 years sane. It never rained in my heart, but I never went against the grain because brothers didn't raise me and groom me, taught me how to see snakes moving through the grass, hiding key seeds and things, digging up kites in the dirt, burying dreams. I walked the yard with an occupancy and sense of urgency because I was trying to make it home. I had 23 years in the beef. I think I could wake up, couldn't count the days on my hand. It took too much. So I just didn't even count time until I was halfway through, halfway done, over the hill. Poor son. Read about 1,000 Donald Gorn books, and he didn't even write but 10. But in the pen, we lived from the gin. I remember the streets sipping the gin like Seagrams. And now I'm peeping, liberate the cage voices. Shout out to California Prison Focus. Shout out to Yahoo. Shout out to the Pelican Bay Corridor. Shout out to the hunger strikes. Shout out to those seagulls who wanted more, but had nothing but thoughts to explore. Shout out to the Kitab, because that's medicine in there. That's the lab. Shout out to the sweat lodges. Shout out to the Hodges. Shout out to the brothers who write letters and is not trying to manipulate nobody, but trying to give guidance and insight. Shout out to the hearts that follow. Shout out to the Nile rivers. That's water, not hollow. Shout out to the ancestors who left their code in the books. Shout out to God's five senses, the gift of sight, hearing, smell, and taste, and even touch. It's tangible. I'm going to eat my wisdom lessons like vegetables. I'm going to go back and heal the soil, raise from the soil. I'm going to get hot more than a boilerplate. Shout out to those that raised me from face to day. Shout out to those prayers from Mom Duke. 20 years of prayers on her knees and ain't bruised. Shout out to those brothers that still keeping Kisus in their boot. Shout out to who? Not COVID. Shout out to those folks that know this. Shout out to those think tanks that understand what broke is. Shout out to Hope Is. Shout out to the Hopeless. Shout out to those folks not losing focus. Shout out to law libraries that still standing, even though they not lacking resource and they've been abandoned. Shout out to freedom. Shout out to free sons. Shout out to no more prisons. Shout out to no more youth getting locked up. Not on my watch. Shout out to all those folks who don't understand watching time go by. Shout out to social distancing. Shout out to asking and questioning, thinking why. Shout out to rebellion. Shout out to revolution. Shout out to insight. Shout out to instigation. Shout out to the nation. Shout out to action. Shout out to thinking. Shout out to meditating. Shout out to praying. Shout out to being. Shout out to believing. Shout out to stop playing. Shout out to saying. Shout out to raise the youth. Word.
Word.
Shout out to the brothers.
Shout out. It was Access, Walking Hershey, Union Supply. It was standing in line to get a surprise. It was Sunday meals and eating in kitchens. It was license and chow hall and getting it fixings. It was living life. It was spades and dominoes at tables. It was headed to the library to read some fables. It was picking up books that didn't mean nothing to picking up books that meant something. It meant everything to me when I was locked in the darkness and I couldn't seem to see what it really meant to be because I didn't know me and the thought was conceived that I could seem to see it was more than the darkness in that war. It was more than the darkness in here, Lord. I had to find a soul in my heart. I mean, a song. Hold on. Let me play them words backwards and sing. You're singing along. I had to find a soul in my heart. I meant to say a song. Find a soul in my heart. I meant to sing a song. I meant to say a song. Because my song of life was filled with tragedies, from abuse to knife fights to doing it lavishly to thinking I was living big because I spent thousands thinking I was the man, but my vision was clouded. My eyes were seeing. I couldn't see me here because I was drowning in that sauce and I was afraid of the peers. That's why I kept that strap there. Yeah, I said it. That's why I kept that strap there. It was here that beat my heart, but now I don't have none because I walk the streets alone without a gun. Say I walk the streets alone without a gun because I was raised with about one. And not afraid of none. Moving through the summer like the sun. It was the wind what it was. You didn't see that often. You didn't hide behind them clouds and them brains get cloudy. When you're sitting there wishing that your thoughts go by. When you lock down in cages and respect like why? All that street They just gone out the window, sitting there missing your Super Nintendos. Ain't no PlayStations, no Ataris. Back in the days, Mr. Men 1 3s, but now it's Xboxes and PlayStation 4s and iPhones. Yeah, you might get one smuggled in somebody's. Yeah, son.
Mhm.
But that man, careful on them sins. The streets is a beast and the demon got a king.
Hmm.
Said the demon got a king.
Mm.
Word.
Word.
The demon got a kid.
Let's go.
All right. Go ahead and close it out with this. I step on the tier with a shield and a spear. Use my eyes and my ears. Know the enemy is near. Watching my surroundings instead of watching the TV. In the pen, picking up a little bit of Swahili. Asante, Kitu, sharper than a Kisu. Knowing that it's better not to speak if I don't need to. The mouth is a gun. The brain is the safety. Don't be so hasty to bust that 380. Watch your tone because you never really know who's listening. Could be bragging about a murder to the person's closest kin. Now they want to spray you like a bottle of Banaka. This life will have you sicker than some plastic bottle vodka. Used to put the Yola in the pot and let it rock up. Now I'm military minded. Role model is Shaka. I believe that I could do anything that I wanna. Live my life without no worries. Akuna Matata. Now this for everybody locked behind them cell doors with triple digits or 25 with an elbow. Try to keep this in your mind as you serve your sentence. They can give you time, but they can't tell you how to spend it. It's been a minute since you saw your family face to face. The homies act like you just disappeared without a trace. I thank Allah that I was able to create this song to tell you life isn't over. Just keep on holding on.
Hmm.
Word. Word. That's
I
what's
say, I say. For
Mm,
sure. But there y'all have it, man. I mean, you already know what it is. Like I said, we just gonna keep on keeping on. We thank those that rolled it out with us, right? As we begin to, like I say, perfect this platform just being a model, right?
right.
Like we should be lifting up, like everywhere they should be like speaking word, like in your household, on the street, on the block, right? We rather give good word than see our folks continue to get into conflict, right? Because they believe in and tripping over somebody else's word. Like what sense that make,
Right.
right? But one definitely round of farewell. We want to appreciate y'all. Like I say, Word is a platform working on rhetorical designs because we understand those designs are not just futile or faint of heart. They are creating. In the beginning was the Word. Everything in creation is a vibration from a word. We are given the edict to also create because we were made in His image or His imagination or His imago, right? So like I say, if and for us too, like I'm not just speaking to you, I'm speaking to myself twice, right? Let's break bread and share a good word. If we haven't learned anything from this platform that we can kind of put into practice, it just be mindful of our words to ourselves, right? Don't fool yourself and think that like we're our worst critic a lot of the times, right? So
Right.
words for ourselves and also words for our brothers. And like I said, we don't have a good word for our brothers and sisters. Like sometimes silence becomes the best vibration, right? Because silence is also a vibration, right? We may get into unpacking that and in next week's show, but like you really consider that for life work.
Right.
Silence is also a vibration,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
It's the best one if you don't have those proper words or those right words kind of to thin, because like I said, we have the same thing that Yeshua, so-called Jesus, would edict with, right? Those same things that we understand, we believe it in the Bible, right? Once it gets past us in its history, right? And just imagine that, like how we have our common sense so trapped in what they tell us in history. We rather believe that folks of old was able to do things that we would call magic today.
Right.
And in the same books where those folks of old were saying, like, hey, what did Jesus say? Hey man, like people before me have done greater things. People after me will also do greater things, right? One of the things Jesus walked with was a discernment and a certainty and a confidence in his word. That's why the kitab says, well, the credit says be, and it is. Because his thoughts and his words is perfectly connected to everything else that's connected in creation, right? So when we stand on that, when I was in there and we all were in prison, I was building the vision, right? The echo chamber wasn't something that I created and thought of when I was out here. The echo
Right.
chamber was something that was created inside of prison. Most
Right.
everything I'm doing out here in organizing community was created in prison. When I created a vision, I held to my word and I got out here and I made sure that I vouchsafed that thing, right? And that I was able to express that word through my work. And that's how I built my vibration up, right? So, like you say, recognizing that equation and recognizing that formula and trying to share it as best I can and give it to my people. Like, man, like just raise your vibration and mind your word and understand that. I think that's very, very important. I see the sister Tony. She had hot thumb. Good evening, sis. But no, yeah, we'll be back next week for sure, for sure. The more hitters, the more stuff. I'm gonna continue to try to gas as best I can just from the dome and just freestyle it and go in. My fiance is reminding me to send a shout out for the 10 for 10 pledge. So for those that continue to support these platforms so that we can be able to, God willing, the creation willing, give a stipend to some youth to facilitate, like to be able to employ our folks to take our movement in our own hands. So like for those who is respecting and kind of understanding and watching what the Echo Chamber is doing, watching those platforms, texting 10 for 10 players to 50055 will be much greatly appreciated. And like I said, we just gonna keep on creating community, creating movement, and doing the best we can to build a vibration. So if you brothers have any last words for the people, I would invite you to do so before we hop off.
Yeah, for y'all out there that don't know me, that don't follow me, Ube Cool. I'm an executive vet with Black Zebra Charity. Also, so body bear, cool hounds, other stuff of that nature. Uh, these two brothers right here, I extend my invitation to these two brothers. I'm going to be doing a series of shows based around dealing with healing and reemergence back into society, and I'm going to have some people that have been dealing with those things that I've known. I've seen their path, I've seen their journey, and that show is going to be called Life After Time. It's
Mm,
going to be in partnership with the Recharge Games by Dr. Leslie Robinson, who is a psychotherapist in Pennsylvania and has the game in over 80 prisons back east. So we're looking to
okay.
build out this platform so that we can share this healing both behind the walls as well as outside. And I know no better two brothers, man, that can get on that platform and give some who are reemerging, some who are still within and need that that extra word, and those who are without seeking to understand, or that they may assist or repent. Because the key is prevention and building another form of consciousness. So just letting them wake up to what's already been there. That's all.
That's
So
great.
uh, thank y'all, brothers.
Mhm.
Thank you for coming, man. I love y'all, brothers, man. Uh,
Myself in love, you already
Thank
know.
you, thank you, thank you. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet, man. I'm while everybody's doing this. So let me see, so you can see while everybody's doing this.
all right,
Don't forget to look up.
all right,
Don't
all right,
forget
Mhm.
to look up. Don't forget to look up and remember the purpose of life. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? And aside from slavery abolition and emancipation, my real life's work is to remind people to put they worship where it belongs, where it's due, to the
mm,
creator, and to stop worshiping things in creation. That's not just for y'all watching, that's for
mm,
myself as well.
all
Because my
right,
ears are so close to my words.
all right,
mm,
Sometimes we have these idols, these material things in our heart.
all right,
You know what I mean? Sometimes
all
we gotta snatch these idols up out of our heart,
mm,
purify it,
right,
purify it. Don't forget the purpose of life. Don't forget to look up.
all
Don't
right,
mm.
forget. You know what I mean? Uh, you know, purify ourselves from these material images and idols that we have in our heart. And remember the one. Remember the one. That's
number
it.
one.
You know what I
All
mean?
right,
That's
yeah,
it. That's
yeah,
that's that's it.
Great.
all right,
That's
Appreciate y'all
great.
brothers.
all right, all right, brethren.
All
Y'all have
right,
a
brothers.
good night.
Y'all be well.
Yeah.
All right,
Hotel.
Go too.
hotel
Hotel.
night.
Peace.
Peace.